So we have a cleaned up version of the emergency tow call from the 4th of July in the case of Nolan Wells, thanks to Janetta Brantley, who is a sound engineer and
Guess who was paying for Nolan Wells' independent autopsy? Colin Kaepernick. You guys, this is a big deal. Colin Kaepernick is paying for his independent autopsy.
Colin Kaepernick just shook the entire internet up big time after going behind the FBI's back to leak a disturbing audio of Nolan Wells' so-called friends admitting to unaliving him. In fact, TMZ recently put out their own cleaned-up version of a 911 call that had been released earlier. And in this audio too, his friends can be heard allegedly discussing how they were going to get rid of his body after taking his life. Colin had been very passionate about this case right from the very start, even giving the family thousands of dollars to conduct their own independent investigation because he believed Mississippi law enforcement were conspiring to cover up major details about how Nolan actually died. And from the looks of it, he's not taking his foot off the gas anytime soon. Now, right from the jump of this case coming on the internet, we could already tell that there was more to Nolan's death than what we were being told, starting with when his family revealed that they had to literally track his phone down and fight to get it back. And even though Nolan's mother, Christine Wansley, never publicly making who his friends she extracted his phone from, it's been widely reported that the friend in question is Warren Hudson. Now, initially, the media reported this entire phone situation like Warren just called up Nolan's parents and handed the phone on his own accord. But Christine later revealed that it was the complete opposite. She had to go out of the way to track it down, using Nolan's Snapchat and Live 360. Once she confirmed the phone was at Warren's house, she sent her friend to go and collect it. Even then, Warren and his mom, Ashley Cole, who also happens to be a judge, gave her a really bad time before finally handing the phone over. And when they finally went through Nolan's phone, all his text messages had been deleted, and all pictures from the day of his disappearance had also been deleted. Now this is where things get even crazier.
Snapchat location looks completely different than the Life 360 location. So when I pulled up Life 360, it was different. It was showing everywhere the phone had been. Like it had, I was like, well, it's showing that he's back on land. Like I'm not, he's like, but no, he didn't come back with us.
Well, how were you able to get the phone?
So we tracked it, and my friend Tashima went and picked it up.
It wasn't like they said we got his phone, they tracked it.
You see, right after this, a 911 distress call leaked of one of Nolan's friends reporting to a private towing company around 4 p.m. on July 4th that the boat's bilge pump had failed, and they were taking on water near the west tip of Horn Island. Now, for some reason, the police revealed a version of the 911 call that had music and background, making it hard for the public to actually hear what was being said right before a CTO dispatcher picks up, even though there was a version of the same call without the music and background commotion. So right from the jump, you can already tell that there is some kind of intentional effort to mislead the public. Because why in set will you put out a version of an audio that they can barely hear when a clearer version exists? What can be the reason? It doesn't make sense. Anyway, TMZ decided to be useful for the very first time in history by getting a hold of the version without music, and then going on to enhance. And baby, their enhanced version is what really shook the table. It turns out that right before the dispatch rider answered the distress call, at the same time the music was playing, one of Nolan's friends can be heard saying, and I quote, "Is he dead? Nolan, oh my God, check his chest, and wake up."
CTO Assistance, Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership.
All right, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles? Hello?
What'd you say? Hey.
Yes. How far is the water coming up, sir?
It's coming up. We're just sinking. I don't know. Like we're going down.
What did we just hear? What was that? Straight out to investigative reporter Crime Stories, Dave Mack. Did you just hear what I heard? Now,
Immediately after this audio was released, people started going off. They didn't know the call started recording them when they were on hold waiting for dispatch. This audio can be the key part in finding out the truth. The police definitely can isolate those voices to hear exactly what's being said. No one is being arrested because one of the mothers is a judge. They will fight hell and high water before they let those kids go to jail. Shaking my head. A separate independent audio engineer, Janetta Brantley, released her own cleaned-up version that circulated widely on social media. And this audio was even crazier because this time, some people claim they could also hear the name Bart. This is what sparked the viral "the friends already knew Nolan was dead" theory, since the official timeline holds he wasn't on the boat when the call was made.
So we have a cleaned up version of the emergency tow call from the 4th of July in the case of Nolan Wells, thanks to Janetta Brantley, who is a sound engineer and an audio expert. Now, before I play the cleaned up version, I want to say that I appreciated that not only did she give us the cleaned up version of the audio, but she explained her process, she did not use AI, and she told people to listen with their own ears and gave us a transcript. I also want to give a trigger warning because what you're about to listen to is really hard to listen to. It broke my heart into pieces, and I cannot imagine what this poor boy went through the day that his life was allegedly taken.
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership. Shut up! Shut the fuck up!
Now, if this cleaned up version of the audio is accurately depicting what we think we're hearing, then that means Wyatt was being dishonest because you can clearly hear his name being yelled while they're also yelling in distress about Nolan not being alive. That means Judge Ashley Cole, who is the mother or stepmother of Wyatt, also was dishonest in her statement. And I want to be clear. She said things very matter-of-factly. She said that Wyatt last saw Nolan at 3 p.m. and that their boat left the island at 4:31. So that means that she is speaking as though these are facts. She did not say Wyatt said.
However, this version is seriously contested. Forensic analyst Robert Freed compared the two recordings and found the TMZ version was 20 seconds longer than the original and carried a different digital fingerprint, meaning it isn't simply a cleaned copy of the same file, raising authenticity questions. Robert also said even sophisticated enhancement software struggled to pick up those specific words, and nothing resembling them appeared in professional transcriptions.
But what I will say is that, again, I'm suspicious because they keep breadcrumbing us with this audio, and every time a new piece of the audio comes out, there's something different. And the mainstream media is, of course, not reporting this, and there's plenty of technology that exists that could try to enhance the voices and see what is actually being said. Now, my theory is that someone who was around but was not directly involved is going to come forward soon because they don't want to go to jail messing with these people. Now, if that is what is being said on this audio, then that means that their cover-up goes so much deeper than just acting like they don't know what happened to Nolan. That means that there were a bunch of people around who know exactly what happened to Nolan, and they all decided that they were going to come up with a story and run with it. Now, another thing that's frying me, and maybe I'm confused, is that originally they all was acting like they did not know Katie McCormick, the girl who Nolan was allegedly with on the beach the last time they saw him. But in the stories they keep telling, they keep talking about people texting Katie to ask Katie where Nolan was. But y'all made it seem like y'all didn't know her.
And there is the entire situation with the autopsy. This is really what had Colin Kaepernick and made him finally decide to drag himself into this case to make sure Nolan's death didn't go unpunished by offering to pay for an independent autopsy. Because clearly, some shady things were already being done to turn this into another unresolved Black Death.
Listen, y'all, it has just been reported that Tyler Perry will be paying for Nolan Wells' funeral. Absolutely incredible. And then on top of that, Colin Kaepernick's foundation will be taking over the independent autopsy, and they will be actually paying for that as well. So basically, they are taking care of the family. Shout out to Tyler Perry. Shout out to Colin Kaepernick. Listen, I love my people when we look out for each other. They are always doing something for the community. I don't care what nobody say. Y'all can talk about their flaws, but let's highlight the positivity and what they're doing and actually giving back. They actually be giving back. So shout out to Tyler Perry and shout out to Colin Kaepernick. That is absolutely incredible. Now make this go viral.
Now, the first autopsy was conducted by the Mississippi Police Enforcement, and interestingly enough, the findings of that autopsy haven't been made public to this day. Jackson County District Attorney Angel Myers McIlrath announced on July 23rd that the state autopsy would be withheld from the public until presented to a grand jury. The state medical examiner's office actually conducted the autopsy back on July 7th, but the report itself was never released, and officials had said they were first waiting on toxicology results. McIlrath argues that this is standard local procedure, not special treatment of this case. She said in a release statement, "Every death in the county, except those of natural causes and non-criminal car wrecks, is presented to your grand jury," and added that this is how death investigations in the county have been handled throughout her career. She's also pointed to Mississippi's rules of professional conduct, which restrict what a prosecutor can release publicly during an active investigation, framing the silence as a legal and ethical obligation, rather than an attempt to hide anything. She separately said withholding the report is meant to protect the integrity of the ongoing investigation. "I also understand that many people have questions about why more information has not been released publicly. In Mississippi, the rules of professional conduct restrict the information a prosecutor can release during an investigation. Our restraint in communicating facts and evidence is not an effort to keep the truth from the public. It is an effort to protect the integrity of this investigation and the grand jury proceeding." Now, going back to the independent autopsy Colin paid for, that autopsy came back inconclusive. The independent examiner, Dr. Mitchell, has said certain key parts of Nolan's body were not handed over to him by the Mississippi Police Department, including Nolan's throat. But even without having everything he needed, there were still some findings that didn't exactly scream drowning. Dr. Mitchell said there was a 12 by 8-inch area of soft tissue discoloration on the back of Nolan's skull and neck.
What the do you mean his neck was missing? The interior and anterior, which means the front of his neck and the back of his neck, which is necessary to determine if he took on water, choked, and passed away, was missing from his body, removed before his body made it to Washington, D.C., along with a 12 by 8 soft tissue.
One person reacted to this saying, "I bet they didn't think his case would receive such public scrutiny and support. Justice for Nolan." Another person said, "They didn't value his life, so they thought no one else would. They never anticipated this having so much attention." But now I want to know your thoughts. What do you think of Colin going against the FBI to pay for Nolan's autopsy to expose the truth? And do you really think he's behind the cleaned-up versions of a 911 call circulating? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And don't forget to click here to watch this other messy video.